Kim Ji-young's childhood in 1980s South Korea was marked by stark gender discrimination. At family meals, her brother received the best portions of meat while she was given leftovers. This reflected deep-rooted patriarchal values where sons were prioritized for nutrition and education. Statistics show that in 1982, only 30% of girls pursued higher education compared to 50% of boys. Ji-young's early experiences foreshadowed systemic biases she would face throughout her life. In school, Ji-young experienced institutionalized sexism, where male students dominated classroom discussions. Teachers often called on boys first, reinforcing the stereotype that girls should be passive. In 1990s Korea, only 25% of STEM university students were female. Ji-young's math teacher once told her, "Don't worry about difficult problems, just focus on looking pretty," exemplifying how education systems discouraged girls' intellectual growth. Entering the workforce in early 2000s Seoul, Ji-young faced wage gaps and glass ceilings. Despite equal qualifications, her male colleagues were promoted faster. A 2005 survey showed Korean women earned 63% of men's wages for equal work. When Ji-young reported sexual harassment, HR dismissed it as office flirting. This workplace culture forced many women to abandon careers after marriage, a pattern the novel critiques through Ji-young's story. By her late 20s, Ji-young faced intense pressure to marry. Relatives constantly asked, "When will you settle down?" while coworkers hinted she'd soon quit for motherhood. In 2010, 70% of Korean women reported feeling such pressure by age 30. The novel highlights how this expectation forced women to choose between careers and social acceptance, with Ji-young ultimately conforming to traditional roles despite her ambitions. After having a baby, Ji-young became trapped in the isolating world of Korean motherhood. Confined to a small apartment, she spent days caring for her infant without support. 2015 data showed Korean mothers averaged just 1.7 hours of personal time daily. The novel's depiction of her exhaustion, breastfeeding at 3 a.m. while her husband sleeps, critiques Korea's lack of parental leave policies and unequal domestic burdens. As a stay-at-home mom, Ji-young faced harsh public judgment. When she dared to drink coffee alone at a cafe, strangers muttered about lazy moms neglecting children. This reflects Korea's mom cafe phenomenon, where mothers are criticized for any personal time. A 2018 study found 68% of Korean mothers experienced such public shaming, revealing society's contradictory demands of perfect motherhood without support systems. The cumulative pressure triggered Ji-young's mental breakdown. She began experiencing dissociative episodes, once speaking in her mother's voice for hours. This mirrors Korea's rising female depression rates, up 40% from 2010 to 2020. The novel uses these psychological scenes to symbolize how patriarchal systems fracture women's identities, with Ji-young literally losing herself under societal expectations. Ji-young's husband Dae-hyun begins noticing her distress during mundane moments, her vacant stare while folding laundry, or uncharacteristic outbursts. This reflects many Korean men's belated realization of women's struggles, as traditional gender roles discourage emotional communication. The novel shows his growing empathy through small acts, like researching postpartum depression, though systemic change remains elusive. In therapy sessions, Ji-young traces her suffering back through generations of Korean women, her grandmother's forced illiteracy, her mother's abandoned dreams. The therapist notes how Korea's rapid modernization, 1960s-2000s, left gender roles unchanged. This historical context explains why 82% of 1980s-born Korean women report feeling stuck between tradition and modernity, unable to fulfill either's impossible standards. The novel ends with Ji-young watching her daughter play, mirroring her own childhood, but with subtle differences. The girl wears pants instead of skirts, climbs trees freely. This ambiguous conclusion reflects Korea's slow progress. While 2020 saw more working mothers than ever, they still face the same dilemmas Ji-young did. The story challenges viewers to break this cycle through policy changes and shifting cultural attitudes.